Hope you're doing well. I'm Rob Tibbs, our K-12 industry consultant at Kronos. I've had the opportunity to meet the majority of you guys and hate that I'm not able to join you at your users group, but I wanted to take the opportunity to share with you some tips and tricks during your lunch break. So hope you're enjoying the user group and stay tuned for some tips and tricks. Have you ever had a situation where teachers all reported to one location, or you had a big group of employees that had professional development all at one location and they all needed to mass punch in at one time and it just wasn't feasible, or they all went to a location maybe that didn't have a clock and you needed, as the Kronos administrator, to mass punch them in at once? But you just didn't have the capability or the technology to do it? Well, the first tip I wanted to share with you is the ability to mass add a punch in the system for all employees. So watch as I show you how to do that. Once you log into Kronos, you're going to select a particular Genie and Hyperfind that filters the employees that you want to select. In my example, I'm just going to select all employees, and you go to timekeeping, add punch. You select the particular day that you want to add the punch. I'm going to select Monday, April 1st. You select the time. Everyone started at 8 a.m. And then you simply click apply. And then that will add a punch to all employees. Summer break, we all know that the majority of our employees don't work 12 months out of the year. They have a period of time during the summer where they don't work, but we project the schedules all throughout the summer, but we don't want to have to go into the holiday table and put 50, 60, 70 different holidays for summer break in the holiday so that they don't get unexcused absences all during the summer. So what is a quick and easy way to account for summer break for my 9 and 10-month employees? So tip number 2 is, how can I easily account for summer break for those employees? So stay tuned for tip number 2. I'm going to select this based on calendar. So I have each calendar already pre-selected. So here I have my 187-day calendar selected. I'm going to select all. I have 771 employees within the 187-day group. I'm going to go to Schedule, Add Pattern. Here, all 771 employees are within the selected group. Then I'm going to select the start date of summer break. So this is going to be the very first day that their summer break begins. So I'm going to select May 31st, because their last day of their calendar was May 30th. So they ended on Thursday, May 30th. So their first day for summer break was May 31st, or is going to be May 31st. And then their end date for summer break is August 2nd. They come back on Monday, August 5th. So I'm going to select August 2nd. Then you go down to the calendar, and I'm going to select Monday through Friday, and you select Add Pay Code. You go up to the pay codes. I'm going to type in summer break. If you don't already have a summer break pay code, you must add that within setup. I'm going to do 0 hours, do a start time of 8 a.m., and simply click apply. And this will apply the summer break pay code throughout the summer for all your 187-day employees. And you will repeat that for each calendar group that you have that has a summer break. You guys are in Texas. I'm in Alabama. So we all know that even the threat of snow or any type of weather event, we're going to dismiss early or we may even delay school. So what happens to time cards for those employees when that happens? There may be a situation where the employees need to be made whole. So what happens when someone is expected to work 7.5 hours? They only work 4 hours. How do you account for the difference? And just because you do a dismissal and you say you're going to dismiss 2 hours early, it doesn't mean that you can just blanketly put 2 hours on the time card, because not everybody works the same schedule. Not everybody punched in and out exactly at the exact time that you dismissed. But you don't want the employees to be penalized for that particular dismissal or late arrival, etc. So we've developed an interface called Make Whole that we can deploy on your system that will take their contract hours less the hours that they worked. And the hours that they worked is comprised of a combined pay code that we add into your system. And we do the simple subtraction of the contract hours less that combined pay code to arrive at the make whole amount that we add to the time card. If you don't have this interface deployed, I can easily assist you in deploying it on your system. So I'm going to walk you through now what that process looks like, and how you would go through doing that after the event takes place. The key is the system would need to be already reconciled. Time cards would need to be clean before this process is run. So all missed punches would need to be corrected. All absences would need to be entered before this process is run. And it will make all employees whole. Or you can do a subset of employees, or we also have the ability for it to do call center by call center. So if you have an event, for example, when I was a customer, we had a situation just at a particular school where we had to dismiss just one school early. So I was able to run this transaction just for one school and make those employees at that school whole for that dismissal. So watch as I show you this, and if you're interested in having this, or you have a situation where you don't want to just use the mass add pay code feature, but you truly want to do the math and figure out exactly how you make the employees whole exactly for the hours that they're short, this is a great tool for that. All right, you're going to start by going to Quick Links, opening up your interfaces, going to Make Whole All Call Centers, and clicking Run. It's going to ask you, do you want to run the interface, and just simply click OK. It's going to ask you for the effective date, and this is going to be the date that the event took place, or that the date that you want to make the employees whole. So whatever date that the weather event occurred, or whatever date that you're applying this. In this instance, I'm going to do 4/1 of 2019, and you want to be sure that you do the date in the format as outlined here, and simply click Continue. Then it's going to prompt you for the pay code, and the pay code can be it can be weather, or it can be any other pay code that you wish to apply on that particular day. So we use this particular make whole transaction typically for weather days, but it doesn't have to be used always for weather days. So you can create multiple pay codes if you wish. In this example, I'm going to choose weather and click Continue. Once it's completed successfully, the employees are made whole, and the time has been added to the time card. In K-12, we have predominantly our hourly folks are non-exempt salaried, and that means that we take their salary, annualize it over the pay periods, and we're only submitting exceptions to payroll. So they're punching in and out. We're treating them like hourly employees. We're calculating their straight time, their overtime, comp time, etc. However, for payroll export purposes, we're only sending exceptions. However, one of the other tedious tasks that could come into play when you're reconciling Kronos could be what happens in the event that that they work over a half day, but they put in a half day absence or vice versa. So, for example, I am an 8-hour employee. I work 4 hours and 15 minutes, and I put a half day in. That means I'm going to get an extra 15 minutes of comp time or straight time, because instead of putting 3 hours and 45 minutes of leave time in, I just put a half day in of 4 hours. And most districts say that instead of putting a half day in of 4 hours, I want that leave time to be adjusted to 3.75 so that I don't get additional straight time or comp time just because I didn't punch out at exactly the half day mark. So in light of that, that can be a very tedious, cumbersome task for you guys to reconcile and go through and try to find those types of transactions. So we have created an absence reconciliation report that is standard in now in 8.1. So any of you guys that have just recently upgraded, it's standard in 8.1, but I can load it in any of your systems that are 7.0 or above. So it's called the Absence Reconciliation Report, and I'm going to walk you through how to run it and what it looks like. First, I'm going to click on Quick Links. I'm going to go to Reports. I'm going to choose Other Reports, and I'm going to choose Employee Absence Reconciliation. Then I can choose All Home or a subset of employees. I'm going to choose just one particular school, and I'm going to choose the previous pay period, and I'm going to run the report. Once it's complete, you're able to open it up, and basically you're able to see here a variance so that you can see how many hours they're contracted to work versus they worked versus absence hours. And you're able to see a variance where they may have entered too many absence hours versus worked hours, and you're able to identify and adjust the absence hours so that there is no variance, either plus or minus. Some of you may call it sick bank, you may call it other things, but basically when an employee is out on a leave of absence, you may allow employees to donate them days. So anything that you may call it where you're able to donate employee days, we're able to account for that in the system. So if, for example, Sandy is out on a leave of absence and we want to donate Sandy days, we can do that in the system to where we're able to track and debit our balances or our sick leave and put them into a bucket for Sandy to deplete while she is out on a leave of absence. So I want to show you how that is easily done in the system, tracked, and easily reported on in the system. First, you have to filter or select the employees that are both the donors and the recipients. For demonstrations purposes, I'm just going to select a random group of employees. And you're going to choose accruals and group to employee. Then the from accrual code is going to be sick, typically. This is the bucket of time that the donors are giving from. So typically it's the sick bucket. And then the 2 accrual code is wherever the days are going to. So in most cases, in this example, I'm going to put them into a sick bank bucket. Then you must choose the effective date, and that is the effective date in which the days can be utilized. So I'm going to backdate it to the previous pay period, which began on March 3rd. The to employee is the person that is out on the leave of absence that is receiving the employees. So I'm going to choose the first employee and click add. So in this example, Brian Anderson is the employee that is out on a leave of absence, and he is going to be receiving the days or the hours that I'm donating. And then here in these fields, this is where the employees, where you denote how many days the employees are donating to Brian. Here, if they're giving all the same amount, you could just set it to like 5, for example, and hit set all amounts, and it would give 5 to all these employees. Typically, we don't see that, so you would set individual amounts. So let's say this employee was given 2 days, this employee was given 10 days, and so on. You would go through here and populate all the number of days that each employee was given Brian, and then simply click apply. And what this does is this pulls these days from these employees' sick bucket, and it moves them into Brian's sick bank bucket and allows them to be utilized while Brian is out on a leave of absence. It's all tracked in the system. It shows the move, and all the debits and credits are accounted for. So it's a great feature to use in the event that you allow employees to donate days to other employees in the event of certain employees running out of days or in catastrophic leave of absence situations. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the user group. Thanks for tuning in to the tips and tricks that I put together for you. I'm sure you're going to have questions. Feel free to post them out on the Texas community page, or you all have my email. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions, but I encourage you to post them out on the community. That way our responses and all our communication back and forth will be able to be seen by others. So if you have questions, or you want to reach out, or you just need a little bit of help to get anything done, or you want the interface that we talked about, feel free to reach out and we can connect and get it going. But have a good rest of the day, and thanks as always for everything that you do for us.